11. More ShowNodes Manager features. In this, our final ShowNodes Getting Started video, we'll take some time to explore various functions of the ShowNodes Manager that were not covered in any of the previous Getting Started videos. First of all, let's take a look at the tabs on the right side of the ShowNodes Manager window. The first tab, Settings, shows various attributes and settings for the currently selected node. Some of these items can be changed, others are read only. Version information, of course, cannot be changed. This is provided by the node's firmware. Each of these other settings can be changed as long as it is not grayed out. Those settings that are grayed out are related to functions not available in the currently selected node. The Settings tab will allow you to select multiple nodes and change certain settings for several or all nodes at the same time. For more information on the settings in the Settings tab, just press the F1 key to open the ShowNodes help. The Caps tab includes a list of general ShowNodes capabilities and tells us which of these capabilities is available to the selected node. For example, if I've currently selected the MyNode1 node, which I know to be a Show Controller node. I can verify this in the Settings tab, by the way. You can see that timelines, the event table, and channel routing are all available, plus a couple of other things we haven't discussed. MyNode2, as you can see, is an I/O node. Timelines, the event table, and channel routing are not available on this node. Again, press F1 for more information on these items. The I/O tab we've already discussed, but we'll learn a little more about it in a few minutes. The Status tab tells us the status of certain node capabilities and allows us to enable or disable them with a click of the mouse button. For instance, unchecking this box for MyNode1 would disable all timeline playback. If any timelines are currently playing, they are stopped immediately. These settings are not saved by the node, meaning that they are reset when the node resets or is shut down. If you want to permanently disable some of these, you can do so in the Runtime section of the Settings tab. The Faults tab lists node errors that have occurred since power-up or reset, or since the last fault reset. You can reset the faults by clicking Clear Faults. The nice thing about this tab is that it works with multiple nodes selected. That way you can get a comprehensive list of all faults for selective nodes. Clear Faults will clear the faults for all selected nodes. The Playback tab shows all timelines playing on selected nodes. Like the Fault tab, Playback shows this information for all selected nodes. In fact, the Settings, Faults, Playback, Events, and Variables tabs each show related information for all selected nodes. You can select multiple nodes by holding down the Control key while clicking on more nodes. On the other hand, the Caps, I/O, and Status tabs only work for one selected node at a time. Since we've already discussed the Playback tab in another tutorial, we'll move on to the Events tab. The Events tab lists all events in the selected node or nodes. The first column shows the name of the event as it appears in the VenueMagick Event Table setup window. These two columns show us the status of the condition that triggers the event and the state of the trigger itself. More information about this can be found in ShowNodes help. The Variables tab monitors and lets us modify the values of variables in the selected nodes. Since variable tables were not discussed in the Getting Started tutorial videos, we'll leave it at that. You'll need to check out help for this one. Now let's move on to the Tools menu. The first option brings up a window for setting various ShowNodes Manager settings. This checkbox lets you enable or disable the window that pops up every time a new node is detected. When unchecked, newly detected nodes will be added to the node list as unassigned nodes, but will not alert you to it. To assign an unassigned node, right-click on the node and select Assign. And now you get the same pop-up. The I/O Monitor tab lets you adjust settings for the I/O tab. This field specifies how fast the I/O value indicators are updated. 200 milliseconds is usually a good number. Less than that could negatively affect network bandwidth. Uncheck this box to disable I/O monitoring altogether. Here you can select what inputs and outputs groups you wish to display. By default, only inputs and outputs are selected. However, you also enable DMX inputs and outputs. DMX in and out will be displayed only for nodes that have these capabilities available. The File Manager is also a window we've already discussed. The only thing we'll add is that you can delete files as well as add them. For example, we added an MPEG-4 file for our video playback node. If I delete that file here, it will be erased from the File Manager and from the video playback node. However, it will not delete the original video file on your computer. These other files were created by the build and upload function. You can delete them too, in which case they will be rebuilt with the next build and upload operation. If you ever doubt that a certain file has been properly built and uploaded to a node, you can delete it here and then do another build and upload. Update Firmware lets you remotely update the firmware on currently connected nodes. We'll leave further discussion of this topic for another tutorial video. Export node assignments will export a file that can be used to configure another project to be compatible with the node setup of this one. And this is how multiple projects can use the same nodes. Once you've exported node assignments for this project, you can import them into a new VenueMagick project. If you don't follow this procedure, the new VenueMagick project will try to reassign all of your nodes and they will no longer function with the original project. Please note that this does not import timelines or other files. It only loads basic node setup. Sharing nodes across multiple projects can be a tricky operation, and we're going to leave that topic for another video. The last topic we'll be discussing in this video is what to do if you need to replace a broken or malfunctioning node. ShowNodes makes this very easy. First, unplug the bad node and disconnect it from your system. You can see here that the manager confirms that we've lost connection to that node. Now, wire in the new node, plug in power, and hook it up to the network. Now, instead of going with the first option, which will initialize the node as a new node, we'll select Replace an existing node. This list here shows all known unconnected nodes of the same node type as the one we just detected. By same node type, I mean that nodes on this list will have the same hardware configuration as the detected node. For example, my new node is a show controller with a Pi-face board for I/O. The only nodes that will appear in this list are other show controller nodes with a Pi-face board. Also, only undetected nodes are shown. ShowNodes will only let you replace a node that is currently missing in action. So, select the node you wish to replace and click OK. The new node is automatically configured and uploaded with all timelines, audio, and other files it needs to replace our dear, recently departed node. As soon as it finishes uploading, the new node is ready to go. There is one more thing I'd like to mention. What if you want to retire a node from a project so that it can be used somewhere else? For that, we use the Unlink Node function. Right-click on a selected node and select Unlink Node. This warning essentially tells you that the node is about to be cleared and factory reset, but that its configuration and files will be saved. Click Yes. Powering down an unlinked node is usually a good idea at this point. If you don't, it will pop up about 20 seconds later as a new node ready to be initialized. If that is actually what you want it to do, click No. Otherwise, click Yes. Once a node has been unlinked, its fate is in your hands. What you see here in the list is essentially a ghost. If you like, you can replace it with another node using the procedure we described a minute or so ago. If you want to remove it from the project altogether, just right-click on it and select Delete Undetected Node. The ghost has just moved on. This concludes our final video in the ShowNodes Getting Started video tutorial series. If you need additional information or would like to check out additional instructional videos, please visit our website at www.shownodes.com. Thank you for watching.